Oh, hi, Mark. Okay, so I'm going to be listening to this one that Mark threw into the comments and has been throwing into the comments for literally months now. If I am to believe their number count, it's 34 weeks, which is a little over 8 months, I believe. So that's quite the commitment. I've definitely seen a lot of them, but I didn't count every single one. But I'm going to choose to believe that somebody named Mark does not have any ill intentions. So I'm going to be hearing these songs today. The first one is going to be from her teaser, apparently, and the other one is the climax of her story. And I'm not in Fontaine yet. I am literally at the precipice, but every single time, just like today, I streamed it and people wanted me to do the interlude chapter with Hat Guy first. So we got all that done, and now the next stream will be like starting to move closer to Fontaine. So I haven't experienced Furion or anything really with that, so I'm going to at some point. I figured it would be better to cover these before I get there. So without further ado, let's go! This sounds kind of familiar. I don't think I've seen Brina's teaser. Maybe this is used as a motif somewhere else? Or is a motif of something else? Ooh, crunchy. Yeah, that sounds super familiar. The like do 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 do. Plenty of tension on it. Not that I'm shocked. Accordion. I mean, that's not a shocker either. I'm trying to align this with the character, but I don't really know much about Furiona either. I have like a very generic idea of who she is. And that feels more, I don't know if tragic is the right word. I don't know. I'm going to have to consult the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal about this one. Okay, despite that reference, I only know that from the memes that were going around TikTok a few years ago. That's it. I just happened to retain the title of that thing. I don't even remember. Is that like, I think it was supposed to be like some sort of like a scale or something. I don't really remember. I remember hearing about Novelet using it, and like that's it. That's the extent of my like Fontaine knowledge in general. So for her specifically, this is an interesting track because it does give me a different perspective of her character, because I've always seen her as kind of this like more bubbly figure, I suppose, but I also know she loves to lean into the drama. I've seen that in a few clips and shorts and memes throughout the years, so I know there's a little bit going on with that where she just likes to, you know, like live in the drama, and that makes sense if your entire thing is kind of based around the balance and weighing of the scales of judgment. So it's just like, okay, cool. I mean, I can see it. But it's just not the personality I would have assumed would be reflected in the song, unless they're trying to kind of steer you in a different direction, since this is the teaser trailer. Maybe they want you to feel like she's a little bit more, you know, pompous, and then they were like, oh, joke's on you, she's actually really fun and bouncy and loves sweets and candies and shit. So that's very possible. But it was just kind of exactly what I would have expected otherwise from this sort of a location. I've heard a few songs from Fontaine before, so it's not like I'm surprised by the overall tone and musical direction they went for here. The inspirations are obviously pretty clear, and it's just kind of nice to hear it. But again, more dramatic than I would have expected. But again, that's very likely that they're just trying to throw people off for a teaser and make things sound a little bit more like they have a higher stake given what this area is supposed to be about and everything regarding the plot there. So I'm not sure if they're trying to hide her like true intentions or who she may actually be or any of that. I don't know if it goes that deep. It's possible because there was a little bit of like a mysterious edge to this one. The tension was in there. A lot of the time they would hit these diminished chords and you're just like, ooh, okay, so things are a little bit confused. And it feels almost like when you enter a haunted house and you just don't know what's in there, you know, like it had that very like Victorian kind of flair to it where it's just like, okay, I don't know what's going on in here. I don't know what could have happened or conspired at any point in this. And I don't know how that's supposed to relate to her specifically. It's very possible that, like, my best guess there is that they're trying to deceive the players and make them think that she's somebody else before you actually get to meet the character, or maybe there's something that she's hiding that gets revealed later and she is actually sneaking around and hiding, withholding information, or maybe she's just like a general mockery or menace of what she is, even though that's not her intent. I could totally see that too. Again, I've like seen her and she seems to be bubbly and fun. So I don't know why this song was picked other than it just being a misnomer. So that's my best guess on this so far, but it's only the one song, and I now have to listen to what will apparently be the song that plays during the finale of her story. So that could change everything. Maybe there's a little bit more of a brightness in this other one, or maybe it gets super dark because it gets worse. I don't know, but I gotta figure out. Ooh. Okay, very much similar. Yeah, we're just sitting here on a minor key the whole time. So they went the depressing route, I see. And add a few more? No. I thought they were gonna build the body of the song there. Oh, there it is. Okay. I was a little early. Maybe. I don't think they're changing the tune at all here. But they're not letting it resolve either. Ooh. Oh, they didn't even like let it resolve at the end, so it just hangs there. Okay, well, that tells me a few things, especially since they kind of kept the same vibe from the trailer, that I was kind of incorrect about her character, or at very least, maybe who she is deeper behind the scenes, hiding behind the smile, maybe. So like I just said there, it feels like she's hiding behind her personality. Like I've mentioned, I've seen her around, and she seems relatively personable and bubbly and fun, and just kind of wants to have a good time and be a part of things. But I feel like now, especially after hearing that one, since it's supposed to be the finale of her story, that there's a lot more to her than I would have initially thought. This is a song that reflects a depressive storyline, something that is deeper and much heavier rooted in worse factors than I would have anticipated for a character like that. But that's, again, usually the thing with those ones who are smiling all the time. There's usually something that they're trying to hide. especially in stories like this. So now I'm like, okay, well, it makes sense, but also not the way I expected it to. Where now I'm like, okay, so she is in something deeper. She was in some deeper shit. She isn't the type of person I thought she was, because there's something hiding under the surface that we've now peeled back. There's less going on in this song than even in the first one. That's supposed to be just a teaser of the character, a general reflection, but not an overall, all tales told story. It's just the little teaser bits, something to generally reflect her. This one stripped away a lot of that, stuck with the core elements of what you need for this sort of song, and then also gave you this like push-pull sort of feeling with the strings. So there's like a heartbeat to the song. There's like this tension underneath it that's not just played in the melody. And now there's more body to the song and what the song means as a result of it. Like having that pulsating in there is definitely a reflection of something that adds pressure, and you can't, it's like waves crashing against you, but you're not like on top of the water, you're under the water, you're feeling that push and pull. It's not a heartbeat, it's definitely more like a wave. It doesn't necessarily feel like somebody's dying or anything in this song, but there's a pressure that you have no control over. Like no matter what you do, you're under the water, you're going to go with the current. No matter what you try, you can swim against it all you want to, but you will slowly be pulled back to shore. And that's what this song is making me feel like in that moment there. The rest of it, the way it started out and everything, just felt more like there was an emotional burden to bear. It felt tired, it felt sad, it felt like the reality of her life had been spilled out in front of everyone, and now we're all aware. Whatever that may be, I don't know, but it definitely doesn't sound good. It feels like something is missing. It feels like a shell. It feels like there is something that should be there and isn't. It's like depression in music format. There is a separation that is happening between her personality and the reality that she's been trying to live. And like I said, there's that whole reflection of she's hiding behind the smile. But I also feel like it's a lot deeper and more depressing than that, whether or not that's something that is similar to, like I've learned recently with like what the doctor's been doing to all those children. I don't think it's quite that deep. It might be, but also it feels just, separated. It feels like a dissociative song where you're reflecting on these moments and this scenario that you're living in where you aren't sure who you are anymore. You've kind of found yourself in an out-of-body situation where you're not whole, and the song being largely empty of most other instruments and any other movement really does sell that. There was that push and pull, but again, that's more like an emotional weight, I think, than anything else, whereas everything else in the song was just signaling to me that there's not a lot going on. There are parts of this that are missing. There really wasn't a bass line. There wasn't a rhythm necessarily. There was a flow to the music, but it wasn't rooted in any solid grounding beat or any of that. So it's a song that floats on and doesn't really have a clear goal, a destination of any sort. And I feel like maybe that's what they're trying to represent with Furina. Maybe she doesn't have that. Maybe something is missing. She's a shell of her former self, potentially. I mean, I just got done with Naida's story in Sumeru, and I mean, if that's kind of the similar direction they're going, maybe she's related to an Archon situation where there is a separation there, like how Naida didn't have like the entire story of who she was, and there was this piece of her that was just like, I don't know why I feel like I'm missing something, and then she had it answered for her, where this has kind of a similar connotation to me musically. But in this case, I feel like there's also not an answer like Naida got. I feel like there's not quite as clear cut of an, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. This feels like whatever the answer was, if there was one at all, it wasn't all that fulfilling, and now she's just gonna have to live with whatever she lost. I don't know what that could have been. This one's kind of complex because I don't have more information than that, and I'm working off of 2 chunks of music, basically, aside from I think I've heard some stuff in the Fontaine area related to Novelette, and I don't know how close those are related either. Maybe it has something to do with him? I don't know. I don't know the story yet. I haven't gotten there. So that's my best guess, I suppose. And let me know how close or far I am away. Don't spoil much for me. I'm on my way to Fontaine. So for once, don't like write me an entire essay of who she is. I won't read them this time around if you do. But I'm curious if I'm at least in the ballpark, so you can at least let me know that much. But I think that's about all I gotta say for this one, so thank you all so very much for watching. Thank you, Mark, for putting these into the comments. Sorry it took me 35 or so weeks to get to these. And for Harshit, who's usually the one who gets picked and did have the most votes this time, sorry I didn't get to yours. I wanted to get Mark's out of the way since I'm right next to Fontaine, so don't feel bad. You can always request those again if you want to, or if anyone else has anything else, they can of course drop those in the comments below, and I will do my best as always to get to those. But other than that, if you just enjoyed this video and you want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, including future Genshin streams and everything where I discover all this stuff, you know how to do all that, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye!